Hi, I'm Rob the accountant. I'm also a Democrat, a real Democrat, running for the Democratic nomination to stop the campaigns of Joe Biden, Donald Trump, or really any candidate telling us how to live, what to ingest, or how to look. You first, I promise, caring without socialism. Where do we begin? First, I don't want to keep rehashing the Israeli Palestinian conflict. What is going over there now is, in fact, genocidal conduct. That is conduct that's not taking into consideration the people who didn't have anything to do with the attack of October 7th. And on that note, I don't think Israel has actually declared, other than one person, that they've managed to kill responsible for that attack. And I've offered a few different suggestions, and I came up with another one, which is, sooner or later, I think the Americans, we should just open a port and guarantee the security assurances for Israel. We do that now through the billions of dollars that we send every year, so why not just take over and create peace and harmony for a group of people so that they can live with their families and have hopes, dreams, and aspirations. Not everybody over there is a bad person. So I do want to talk about the fact of the irony that everybody thought Donald Trump was going to be the bearer of World War III, and Donald Trump was going to start all these wars. And it's kind of interesting that it's Sleepy Joe Biden that continues to be the one pushing for wars. And it really doesn't surprise me, because it was Joe Biden who voted for the Iraq authorization the first go around. And he voted for that on faulty information. He continues to push Ukraine to fight at a cost of billions of dollars of Americans' taxpayers' dollars. He offers no conditions to Israel on their complete, total bombardment of a civilian population and its displacement. And now we have the third genocidal conduct occurring that I want Americans to be aware of today, because one of the things that I want to talk about is one of my policies. And I know that the primaries are 2 months away. I know I probably have no shot at all, but that's okay. There's always 2028. And I want to say that after looking at thing one and thing two, thing one is Governor Newsom. Thing two is Governor Ron DeSantis. They really, whatever they did last night, their debate, it did not actually, didn't help anybody. It didn't tell people what the future was going to be. It didn't explain to people how their policies were going to help us live a better life. It didn't address anything going on really with the world being up in smoke and in war. So one of my policies would be that we should be promoting peace and harmony throughout the world, using the strength of our power to give hope to those seeking to live free. Peace and harmony are only protected through strength of arms. We can't guarantee other people's safety if we can't protect them. One of the things that I think is important is not only do some of the bad actors in the world, which seems to be some of our own friends, not make a distinction between civilian and military targets, but we have Americans, intent on arming our enemies with cash that they use to hurt us. I'm just tired of working with people who aren't on our side. You are either on the side of America, you are on the side of freedom, you are on the side of allowing your people to be free. Because I know that we complain a lot in America. We have a lot of belief systems that, we think we have a lot of laws, and we do, and a lot of repression, we do, but Americans are free. You can get up today and you can go visit any of the 50 states. You can leave the country. You can go anywhere in the world, and you can come back, and no one's going to bother you. But today, what I want to talk about, and I want a second, is what's going on in Armenia. Because one of the things that seems to be weird to me is, as this video plays and we comment on it, is that Russia, of all people, Russia, was the guarantor of these people's security. And because they're occupied with Ukraine of their own accord and because of their own reasoning, which is just completely insane, they've not been able to provide the security to Armenia. And so let's figure out what I'm talking about, and let's talk about the third genocide that's going on in the world.
The world focuses on Israel's war against Hamas. An ongoing conflict threatens a tiny Christian nation. Armenia is facing a potential genocide at the hands of its militant neighbor, Azerbaijan. CBN's Chuck Holton reports from the disputed territory inside Armenia.
Following a rapid September offensive, Azerbaijan recaptured Nagorno-Karabakh, displacing most of its 120,000 ethnic Armenian residents. Recently, the World Court mandated Azerbaijan to allow these refugees to
Now, on that note, I am not versed in this at all. Ironically, I have clients here where I live in New York that are medical professionals who reference this genocide in their own history. And not this attack here, but I just want to show you that this is the terrible with pronunciations, the Nagorno-Karabakh Exodus. And if you guys come over to this website, you can see what the video will continue to talk about. And, literally over 200,000 people were just instantly displaced, just uprooted, just attacked, with no rhyme, no reason. Buildings bombed. They had no way. And here you go. This is everyone just fleeing, because when you're a regular country and you don't have two oceans on each side of your country protecting you, you just don't always have the means to stop an aggressor. So let's continue.
to return. But for those forced to flee, the prospect of living under Azeri rule is terrifying.
I was in my father's village when the attack took place. The first explosions were in the village. All of us were shocked. We did not know what to do. The kids were at school, my brother's kids. We were trying to figure out how to bring the kids back because we had to take them somewhere safe.
Unfortunately, the news cycle has ignored most of what's happened of this ethnic cleansing that started on September 19th.
We saw destroyed cars near us, shrapnel everywhere, in front of my feet. I was struck in the hand. It was so stressful. I didn't know whether to run or to help. I didn't know what to do. There were wounded people approaching the car asking for help. They were falling, passing out because they had lost so much blood.
This created a massive humanitarian crisis and generated allegations of Azeri war crimes. With the world now distracted by Israel's war with Hamas, Azerbaijan sees an opportunity to push even further. This Armenian monastery behind me is called Tatev, and it's over 1,100 years old. It's also one of the most popular tourist spots in the entire country of Armenia. And this is the area that is under threat from Azerbaijan, who now says that this is what they call Western Azerbaijan, and they're claiming that this land belongs to them. But if you look at the dozens and dozens of churches like this that are all over 1,000 years old that dot this region, it's pretty easy to see that this has been Armenian territory for a long, long time.
We hear they have a mind to capture our province. That's the Turks' idea. Erdogan has said so many times. Now the Russians and Azerbaijanis have joined the Turks. They want to eliminate the Armenian nation.
As Hamas is to Israel, Azerbaijan and Turkey are to Armenia and the Armenian Christians.
In 1915, after the genocide, we lost much of our land to the Turks. I'd like to see.
So let's just jump over real quick on that. So on the Armenian genocide, the Armenian genocide was the systematic destruction of the Armenian people and identity in the Ottoman Empire during World War I. The Ottoman Empire is Turkey today. And on the 24th of April, 1915, the Ottoman authorities arrested and deported hundreds of Armenian intellectuals and leaders. Estimated 800,000 to 1.2 million were sent on death marches through the Syrian desert, were deprived of food and water. So we take a look at this other picture. Folks, you have to understand that this is currently a NATO ally, and when we look at the world as a whole, I just don't understand why. You know, a wise person said to me that in 100 years, everything that you own, including your body, will be in a land. And yet nations seem so intent on destroying other nations for just land. So anyways, this genocide put an end to more than 2,000 years of Armenian civilization in eastern Anatolia. And the Turks today continue in 2023. The Turkish government maintains that the deportation of Armenians was a legitimate action that cannot be described as genocide. As of 2023, 34 countries have recognized the events as genocide. Now, I don't know if we're one of those countries, it's very unlikely, but this is what I'm talking about. We just need to either be for everybody in America who is free, saying that people who want to be free elsewhere, we're with you. We need to stop choosing countries that, you know, have bad alliances and murder their own people and then go out and systematically kill other people who have done nothing to attack them. So let's continue.
That land returned to us someday. I just want Armenia to flourish.
Armenians, though, feel ignored by the world.
Please do not forget your true Christian brothers and sisters in Armenia that are being attacked and forcibly removed from their homelands right now.
Maybe all Christian countries will come to our defense so we don't disappear from the map.
Without Russian protection, Azerbaijan's forces are poised to continue seizing territory, and people here worry about a repeat of the Armenian genocide of 1915. From Armenia, I'm Chuck Holton for CBN News.
In the very complicated political history of this region, Armenia stands as a Christian nation and has for centuries. And to say it's part of Azerbaijan is completely, it goes against history, it goes against archaeology, it goes against everything. We need to stand with Armenia. Let us never forget the Armenian genocide that happened. The Turks came in and they literally slaughtered everyone. And it was covered up, it was hidden. To this day in Turkey, you cannot reference the Armenian genocide. That's how extensive it is to say, let's cover this up. Absolutely horrific. Armenians were scattered around the world. The Armenian community right here in the United States, you can trace it all the way back to that genocide, that they had to flee for their lives. If they had stayed, they would have died. Today, another genocide is happening, and our focus is on Hamas, on Gaza. We need to focus on our Christian brothers and sisters in Armenia. Now, here's where it gets very complicated. Russia was the protector of Armenia. Russia can't do it anymore because of their invasion of Ukraine. Someone has to step up in that region. Europe, 100 years ago, didn't step up. The consequences were quite clear. Hitler referenced the Armenian genocide, that nobody paid attention, nobody did anything, and therefore no one would do anything against him when he killed the Jews. That was his rationale. We can't let Azerbaijan get away with this. We can't let Turkey get away with it again. These things cannot happen on our watch. We need to stand with Armenia and stand very strong. Again, moral clarity. Now, CBN has been operating through Orphans Promise in Armenia for years. All of those systems are completely overwhelmed now. 120,000 refugees have now left that disputed area, and now that Azerbaijan army is coming after them. How can we do it? Well, let us please write to your senator, write to your congressman, write to the White House. Let's mobilize support to say, no, not on our watch. You don't get to wipe Armenia off the map.
The United States of America should be promoting peace and harmony throughout the world, using our strength. And Americans need to come over to this site. I'll reference it in my videos, and look and learn. You know, this is really important because we have Americans right now, I believe, litigating the hasty withdrawal of Afghanistan, and that those 14 service personnel that died, you know, we have families that are very upset, rightfully as they should be. I don't know in the bigger context of 20 years of war if their claims supersede all the others, but the reality is my point is all lives matter. And if all lives matter and Americans go through such depths to protect our own and to try to right, even when things are wrong, to try to find some type of justice to come out of it, we cannot continue to sit by when our allies, including Israel, our allies, including Turkey, our allies, these are our allies. Our allies are violating our principles, our morals, more than our enemies. Our enemies are doing more, well, they're really not, they never have, but up front into the rest of the world, our enemies look like they're doing more than we are. The United States, going forward, needs to stop taking this hostile role. Nobody in the world is challenging our dominance. We should be using our dominance and our strength to help other people be free. And so today, I want to not be mean to Joe Biden. I don't want to call him the name that everybody else is calling him. But you got a lot of killing in Gaza. You got a lot of killing in Ukraine. And you got a lot of killing in Armenia. And the United States should do something to protect these people. If Russia can't because they're there, then maybe the United States should find a way to negotiate with Russia to end the war in Ukraine so that Russia can go back to protecting these people. Because I don't really know what's still going on with the Ukraine-Russia war. It's still been going on, and it's just meat grinders and more people dying. And Joe Biden, you got to find a way to stop all these wars. We can sell weapons that don't need to be used on civilians and don't need to be used on ambulances, don't need to be used on fleeing people. We can do better. We can do 100% better. So please, I don't really have anything good to say. I wish I could say, hey, support me, but we have an election that is between an old man that's pretty much senile and another person who thinks he's the king of the world. I just think America can do better. Maybe there's hope. And I'm hoping that the rest of you might find some hope as well. Have a good night. We'll talk soon.